Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am doing another watercolor time lapse. As you can see here, I'm sketching out some ideas just in a little sketchbook. I am doing this piece in A3, but normally I like to do sketches a bit smaller than that so I have a better idea of composition and things are kind of more in proportion. I find when I go straight to sketching really big, things can sort of get out of proportion. Certain bits will be too big and others will be too small, and the composition isn't as nice. I don't always start all of my bigger pieces like this. Sometimes I will go to sketching straight on the surface that I'm painting on, which is normally A3 or slightly larger than A4 watercolor paper. Every now and then I think most artists kind of go through it where they're happy with their style but they feel like lots more that they need to learn or experiments that they could do to better their practice. I'm definitely at this stage at the moment where I'm sort of getting out of an art block, which they happen kind of every now and then for me just because of whatever's going on in my life at the moment, or I just sort of get out of practice of drawing regularly just because things are so busy and then it's harder to get back into it. Yeah, so at the moment I'm kind of going through a phase where I'm going to be doing more studies from real life and from photos and stuff like that, just to kind of get back to basics for a while and revisit my style and I guess update it a bit more. In this piece I feel like the line art and the style is kind of very anime illustration-y, and I don't mind that. Generally I don't really like realism personally as for me to draw. I mean, I can do it, I just kind of like having a bit of a style. And I'd like to change up my style a bit to have it slightly more realistic but still quite illustraty and comic book style. I'm still trying to find a happy medium between all these different things I love, because a lot of the artists or, you know, illustrations that I really love and I admire, they're pretty much all over the place. There's not really like a consistent style that I like. I appreciate so many different types, whether it's from traditional to digital, like soft and simple, or like something that's really hard-edged and graphic and has really like cartoony proportions. Yeah, I guess I just need to find a happy medium, and to get to there, that's when you do a lot of studies and drawing from real life. So here I am painting in the background and adding in some layers of watercolor paint, as well as adding some isopropyl rubbing alcohol on top, and that kind of gives an interesting effect where it sort of, wherever the rubbing alcohol is dripped, the watercolor sort of repels from there and it gives it sort of a white circular pattern, which I liked in this piece because the background is kind of watery, so I figured it kind of made it look like air bubbles or something like that. I wanted the background to have a lot of texture and slightly different blue tones. And so for this piece, the way it actually came about is this is a piece for my Patreon supporters. Each month I do a new themed artwork for them, and they obviously get this video, they get sort of a look behind the scenes on my Snapchat, and also they get a print or high-res version of this depending on what reward they've chosen. So this piece was actually a combination of several different themes. I think there was a tie between Beautiful Nightmare, Underwater Level, and On Wednesdays We Wear Pink. So some interesting themes to try and mix together there. That's why the mermaid is mainly sort of pink. I wouldn't normally paint her pink. I'd kind of think of some different colours. I did kind of make it pink with magenta and grey, and then her fins and features are purple. In case you don't know, purple is one of my absolute favourite colours, and I think you can find this a lot in my artwork. Sometimes I will shade, even digitally, I will shade with purples, or I'll add purple in the background, or it's always going to have purple in there somewhere. Yeah, and I kind of struggled with this piece a little bit. There were a couple moments where I wasn't really confident what I was doing, or I just didn't like some of the steps, or I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to come together. I did a few different experimental techniques in this. Obviously this is actually my first full painting that I've used the rubbing alcohol in. I just got that recently. Normally I just use salt and I don't really use anything else. I tried a combination of using the rubbing alcohol and salt to give texture to the background, as well as I layered this piece quite a bit more than what I normally would. You will see that later in the video that there's so many more layers that are added on, and I kind of worry that Sometimes I might overwork an image. I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of part of my style again from having a background using Copic markers, which involve a lot of layering and a lot of blending to have some really smooth results, really refined results. And also I have a background sort of working with acrylic paint, so I'm so used to sort of just like layering things on and kind of mixing the colour once it's on the canvas rather than on the palette. It's just kind of that's just the process that I kind of picked up. We were never really taught how to paint properly. I do have a Bachelor in Visual Arts in painting, but yeah, we were mainly taught a lot of theory stuff, or it would pretty much be like the teacher would set up sort of a still life and go, hey, paint this however you want to, let's have a look at your style. So we weren't really instructed or sort of taught traditional techniques, so I'm always worried that sometimes like maybe I'm not painting correctly. But I guess with art there's no real right or wrong way. It's sort of developing your style, finding what works for you, and if you only painted or did a style that, you know, many other artists do, then it kind of makes it less unique, I guess. But yeah, I'm still learning, and I'm always going to be learning. Like I can, you know, I'll be 50 one day and I'll be like still learning something new and new techniques, and yeah, I kind of like that. I like that. To me, art is never really a finished product. It's kind of the journey and what you learn from it and what you're expressing. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this piece, and it was really nice. I actually had 3 different people go out of their way to comment on this when I was getting prints done at my local print store, which was really nice. It was like, oh, thank you. And yeah, so as you can see, I've added salt to the background and going back to the foreground to add details, more shading to the characters. When I'm painting with watercolour, I tend to jump around a lot. I guess it's because I'm slightly impatient, and the way I do paint with the layers, you know, I've got to put some bits down and then wait for it to dry to come back to it. So I jump around a lot. I don't know, again, if that's like a proper technique or if it's something I shouldn't be doing, but it kind of works for me. I did actually do this piece in several settings. I normally like to sit down and smash out a piece in like a full day and just sit and paint and do something from start to finish, and it's quite satisfying. But I'm kind of glad that I took my time with this one. I really wanted to add in lots of colours and details, and yeah, it was interesting. Mermaid's actually one of my favourite subjects to kind of draw when I'm in a bit of an art rut. That and demon babes. I really like drawing, I guess as you can tell from my name, I like exploring and drawing characters that have different animal features, or like from mythology, or different takes on monsters. That's something that I've always sort of drawn even when I was younger. I think like my first character I ever really made that I remember and sort of stuck with was a character called Halo, and she was an anthro lilac tiger demon thing. We all have those characters like from when we first start drawing, and yeah, it was kind of embarrassing, but yeah. Still love purple even back then. But yeah, I guess everyone has their humble beginnings, especially on DeviantArt. God, I think I first joined DeviantArt in either 2002 or 2003, so many years ago, and I've changed accounts a couple of times since then. But yeah, I was on there back in the good old days, and I went through the Sparkle Dog phase, and I went through the Anthro character phase, and all of those sorts of things. I'm not actually active on DeviantArt and haven't been for a couple of years. I mainly post a lot of my stuff on Tumblr and Instagram, and actually I'm really bad at posting my stuff online. I think I just don't really have much time, or I'm doing a lot of sketches and not doing as much fan art as what I used to. And now I'm at the step where I'm happy with the colours that I have down from the watercolour process, although I don't feel like they're vibrant enough or that I can get enough detail from them. So I'm going over and using a couple of different colours from my Prismacolor pencils. I love these pencils so much. It's just a shame that the leads constantly break. which is so frustrating. So I never really travel with them. Like if I'm going to uni, I'll only take sketch pencils or like, I don't know, Copic masters or like watercolour or something like that. But I'd love to be able to take my Prismacolors, but they break so much and it's so frustrating sometimes. Yeah, and I always add in highlights with either a white gel pen or a white coloured pencil like I have done here. So just adding in some final details to the foreground and the background with some sort of bubbles and stuff like that. I do like the texture that the pencils add and the extra bit of detail that you can get. And as you can see here, I'm kind of adding some colours to the background, dabbing some of it off so it looks kind of transparent and adding different layers to the background. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video and me kind of going on about it. I hope you guys do enjoy these voiceovers. I think I'm getting better gradually. And if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you do like this piece, I have some prints available in my online store. Check the description for a link to my Etsy. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!